Good morning. I thought it was about time that I got in on the Brad Wilcox conversation, but I'm coming from a different angle, I think.
Picture this. I was identified by my branch president, leadership father, as being rebellious. My friends in high school would probably roll their eyes, thinking that my parents thought I was rebellious, being the little goody two-shoes that I usually was. But it was decided that my attitude was getting out of hand. I wasn't being obedient enough. And I've seen some TikTok videos recently of some preacher telling people that they needed to get a submissive wife. And don't worry if she's not submissive to you while you're dating. You'll know you got a good one by how she acts with her father. So my father informed me as I was climbing into the van to leave for this event that he was the one who had asked the Lansing, Michigan State Presidency to bring in the Wilderness Youth Conference to our stake. It was for me and for other youth like me, whose testimonies were weak and whose attitudes were shit. For more on a history of what I went through, you can go to YouTube and look up Kenneth Packer's video, where he was an investigative reporter talking about the Wilderness Youth Conferences that were the precursor to EFY. Well, these were shipped out like Know Your Religion seminars used to be, and Wilderness Youth Conference came to my stake. How shall I begin? Let's see. We left in the evening without having any dinner. We drove for hours. We arrive in the dark. Whereupon we're informed that we are going to hike to our campsite, which is hours away, in the dark, without a flashlight, holding on to a rope. And sometimes there wasn't a rope. You just had to stumble along and follow the noise of the person ahead of you. It was exhausting, it was terrifying, and by the time you got to camp, you were starving. When you arrive at camp and expect, like at most Latter-day Saint youth activities, that there's going to be a spread with tables full of food, you're handed a piece of wood. It was about that tall, about that long, and informed, well, I hope you brought the pocket knife that we told you to bring in your backpack, because now, before you can eat, you need to carve yourself a spoon. Our meal du jour was a couple cans of baked beans, which we also had to figure out how to open without a can opener. I'd never used a pocket knife before, unlike all these frickin' Boy Scouts around me. The girls were struggling to carve our spoons. More in part 2.